There it is. What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy G here from Hybrid BMX. So in today's episode, we're going to be doing something kind of special. We're going over a BMX Bug-Out Bag with you guys. Pretty much everything that you could possibly need in a BMX bag if you're going anywhere riding BMX. It's just going to have all those essentials that you need so that you can fix your bike and fix yourself. And just all that stuff that is very important for the BMX biker who likes to go on the run a little bit. And maybe even if you're just riding local too, it just saves you from having to go back home and get your stuff. Or if you don't have a car yet, you know, it's just good to have a book bag on you that has all the essentials that you need. So stay tuned and we'll get that for you. All right, ladies and gents, so here we go. These are going to be the bare essentials that you need for a bug-out bag. Now, as you see, I have two different bags here. This is my old bag, my Dakeen Thrasher bag. Now, I got this bag years ago, and it has held up pretty good for me. However, one of the sides right here, see how it ripped? So just remember, guys, that fashion is not always, and this kind of sucks because Dakeen's a really good brand for the most part. I've never, you know, anybody that I have that have ridden, you know, or used Dakeen products never really had this issue. So I'm not really hating on them for it. I mean, this bag did give me quite a bit of time before it did that. However, I think you could probably get a bag that's similar to this that doesn't have the skateboard holder for probably quite a bit cheaper. This bag was like a $50 bag. So it was not a cheap date. However, it has held up to some abuse. So instead, my in-laws gave me this High Sierra, just kind of regular bag. Now, this is kind of more of like a hiker's bag. It's got a suspension strap system and it's really soft on the back, which would be nice if you're like pedaling around town and you need to, you know, have a bag to use. This is really good for that. I actually walked to work. When I was walking to work at my old job, this thing was perfect for that. And really, you could use these two bottom straps if you really had a skateboard on you. You could use these two bottom straps to hold a skateboard on the bottom probably. It might be a little bit tacky or frustrating, but that would work if you're using a skateboard for filming. But anyways, guys, what you need for doing this, and when I was going with this High Sierra bag, is this is probably a little bit more affordable of a bag, and it has a lot more space. I mean, there's a spot to hold a laptop and stuff like that if you guys are, you know, doing vlogs or videos or whatever, and you're on the run. But because this is a bug-out bag. But anyways, guys, let's get into some of the basic tools that you will need in order to accomplish this goal here. Now, mind you, this is just what I usually carry in my bag. Let me make sure I got everything. I got a whole buttload of tools over here because this is usually just like my tool bag where I hold everything. This one was. Anyway, and it probably still will be down in the basement. But let's go over what we got here. Okay, so I usually use my smaller crescent, but adjustable crescent, which I didn't have like readily available right now. It's downstairs, so I've got the bigger one here. So you could use a 12, but that's probably a little too heavy. So, you know, get a 10 or an 8, and that'll do the trick for majority of repairs. But if you have an American bottom bracket, you're gonna need this guy. So just because that's the only way you're gonna be able to get the one bolt off if something happens with your cranks. A hammer or a rubber mallet is always a good tool to have in case something breaks and you need to pop something off. It's also great for if you're at a spot and there's like a pallet or whatever, and you and your buddies are trying to, like, you know, put together a makeshift ramp. Hammer's a good tool to have. You could also probably carry a little thing of nails too. That wouldn't, like all-purpose nails, that wouldn't hurt either if you're ramp building, like DIY spot stuff. Okay, wrench wise, I've got a 15mm wrench, also known as, I think that's 5/8. That's for my front rim to pull off the wheel. If you get a flat, you're gonna need that for sure. Same with the 19mm. This guy's good for the back, so you can get the bolts loose on the back, the rear wheel, and take that off. And then for Allens, I always carry around these T-handles because they tend to work better for me. This one is, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is a 8mm. That's for like American bottom bracket. Typically they'll have the mid school had the bigger Allen head, so you had to use that. But typically nowadays, this is the one that's kind of like the universal. Everybody kind of uses it now. It's like the industry standard, and that's a 6mm. Just you can use it on like everything. Your bars, your bottom, your cranks, your seat posts, like everything. This is like the main tool for everything now. However, if you're in a pinch and you literally don't have any other tools that are quick and easy to use, grab one of these guys at Harbor Freight or whatever. There's like $3 or $4, and you have all the tools you need again. So all the sizes that you need. Make sure that you buy metric, not standard, because almost all BMX stuff is metric, not standard. Okay, if you're younger, ask your parents first. Do not just go in your parents' medicine cabinet and take, a whole bottle of acetaminophen. But this is just Tylenol, guys. I would suggest, like I said, if you're under the age of 18, make sure you ask your parents first. If you can carry around a little bit of Tylenol, you probably don't need a whole bottle if you're a little kid. You could probably just use a couple, like 2 or something like that in a baggie. So that way you have something if you get hurt. This is great for pain relief, but honestly, a better choice is probably ibuprofen. And the only reason I say that is because, we get contusions and stuff like that riding, guys. When you fall on the ground, your arm starts to swell. It might not be broken, but it's swelling because it's hurt in some way, or you bruised the bone or whatever. So ibuprofen is going to be a better bet because it's anti-swelling. It'll help reduce your swelling, or if you roll your ankle or whatever. So ibuprofen is probably a better choice. And that's usually what I carry in my bag, but this is just here for example for pain relief. Going back to tools again, a crescent is a great tool to have with an extension for your pegs. That's really helpful. 19 again with the sizes, 19mm socket and a 15mm socket. Make sure you have those on deck so that way you have that. Probably one of the most essentials, especially for street riding, is tubes. Really any riding, but tubes are essential. Even if you don't have a pump on you, the thing you're going to need more than anything is a tube, because you can go to a gas station or whatever, or roll to a local bike shop and get it filled up. But if you don't have a tube, you're going to be out of luck. Let's say if you just end up having to go to a gas station, you're going to be out of luck for a 20-inch tube. So you're better off with carrying them on you. I mean, this is all of, maybe $8 at Walmart would buy you a couple of 20-inch, BMX tubes. This right here is a Stanley tire repair kit, which is also helpful if you don't have the tubes or you ran out of tubes. You have the stuff to patch. You have a patch. You have a bunch of extra multi-tools, and you have tire things, which I've never used. I've used them like once, I think, in the whole entire time that I've ever ridden BMX. I've used tire levers. Gloves. These are a necessity too. Whether you're riding with them or you don't like riding with gloves, that's fine. You don't have to ride with gloves. But when you're repairing stuff and you're getting involved with grease and dirt, and you don't want to get your hands all filthy and get your grips all filthy, a pair of gloves is really helpful when you're doing repairs. So always make sure you have a couple pairs of gloves. It just helps out, get stuff done easier. And then up here is a couple sets of pegs. Now, most guys, be like, okay, well, you're riding 4 sets of pegs. Some people do that. Some people only ride 2. I only ride 2. And because of that, I have 2 sets of pegs here, and you're probably going, well, why does he have 2 sets of pegs if he only rides 1? Well, here is why. If you look at these pegs, I just got these last season, and they're already starting to get pretty torn up, and that's because I've been grinding cement ledges with it, which I need to get away from doing that with these pegs because I want these to be my more park pegs. They're Odyssey M pegs. They're awesome. They ride really well. They grind super well, but I want to save those for like rails and for skate parks. So I'm gonna keep my Haros around because of that. Because as you can see, these have gotten grind to death, which I'm okay with that. So if you guys don't have plastics, and that's the other thing, guys, if you have plastic pegs, don't try grinding ledges because you're gonna be replacing sleeves all the time. And then along with the pegs, you should always bring yourself some wax. just so that way if you get to a ledge that you really, really want to grind and you can't help yourself, or a rail that's just a little too sticky, you have some wax. Even if you're riding plastic pegs, I do suggest, even just hitting it with a little bit of wax. You don't have to get crazy with it, but hit it with a little bit of wax. And you don't have to have a big old bar of butter like this. You can have like a little bit of wax, and it'll go a long way. And you can go to your local skate shop and pick up a thing of wax like this for, I think I picked this one up for $5. So you could probably go cheaper than that. You could probably pick up a thing of wax for, $2. Or if you're really, really being cheap and you're on the run and you don't have wax, you can stop at your local dollar store and pick up a couple candle waxes and use that. Just make sure that it's not like super scented or anything like that. Like, look for unscented candles, because what you're really looking for is, you're not looking for all the additives. You're just looking for the straight paraffin, which is what this is. This is just straight paraffin wax. So make sure there's not a whole bunch of additives in it. They'll usually tell you on the back of the label for candles. And then for packing, it's really simple. I would use as many of the pockets as you can. Here's another thing too, guys. Usually I carry a full first aid kit on me, but right now I just have like Band-Aids in here. But usually I carry a full mini-sized first aid kit that comes with everything, gauze, the whole nine. You can pick one of those up at like Harbor, like probably Walmart or whatever, for like $10. And I'm telling you, it is worth every penny. I don't know where mine is right now. I don't know where it ran off to, but I usually have one in my bag. It's like a blue pouch that has like everything from triple antibiotic ointment to anything you can think of, for the most part. Just for basic contusions, cuts, bruises, whatever. Stuff that's going to help you, burns, anything like that, because there's ample time to there's not ample time to get to a hospital most of the time. So if you're in a life-altering situation where you get hurt really bad, it can be a couple minutes and your life could be over. So it's better to have the supplies you need. So that way you can at least, like say you're bleeding really hard because you scraped your arm to death. You can at least take some gauze and you have one of your buddies wrap your arm up. Here goes again with not riding without friends. You should always ride with friends. That's very, very important. I have to ride alone a lot because a lot of my buddies got out of the sport, which is unfortunate. But because of that, I stay extra prepared and I stay extra careful when I'm riding. And that's why you guys don't see me do all kinds of crazy tricks, because majority of the time I'm riding alone, and I can't risk the getting hurt. So, I mean, if I get a little scrape or a bruise or a bump, that's not a big deal. But if I were to get seriously injured, it could be bad. So, anyways, guys, the only other thing that's not in this is because it's in my wife's truck. Is my new 888 helmet. That is the other thing that you should always keep with your bug-out bag, and always on hand. I don't care if you think it's cool, uncool, whatever. Wearing a helmet will save your life, period. And we'll have a whole nother video for helmet safety and show you the kind of helmet that you should buy, a certified helmet compared to a non-certified helmet, and why it's so important to buy certified helmets, so that way they can save your life. And so that way you don't end up paralyzed or something crazy. Remember that your brain it cannot be repaired very easily. So if it gets hurt, you're done. I mean, you could turn into a vegetable real quick riding BMX. And I've seen it happen to people and it's sad. So just keep that in mind. Always have your helmet. I know I don't have it in the picture here, but always have your helmet on you. But anyways, guys, I hope this was informative. I hope this was helpful. And that's what you need in the ingredients for your bug-out bag. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got information from this. And we'll catch you next time on Hybrid BMX. Peace, love, rock, deuces.